Now, after that, we got to take a look at this Grand Inquisitor figure. This Grand Inquisitor figure. So, John, you brought this to my attention here. Is this first question? Did you buy Obi-Wan or the Vader from Obi-Wan?
I did not because Sideshow kind of made me mad with the way that they did those. There were exclusive deluxe editions of those that you could purchase. They had some little extra piece of it, but they were only available for like a week, and it was like one of those FOMO things, like you can only get it now. If you don't pre-order, then you're just SOL. And I was like, no, 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 no. I'm not just gonna be forking over. I'm not just gonna buy 3 or 4 or 6 or how many ever were available that week Hot Toys just because I want the extra little piece, and like I don't have time to actually figure out my budget and figure out, like, this is not a candy bar in the checkout line. This is a significant purchase here, and I'm not just going to be throwing money at it left and right. So I have not pre-ordered any of those. I added myself to the wait list as soon as they went to wait. As soon as that like pre-order part was done, I clicked on the wait list because I figured that way, by the time the figures are actually released and the wait list starts opening up, I can make my decision then as to whether or not I want to actually drop the money on it. But anyway, so that's a long way of saying no. I did not order them yet.
But John, those are problems for future John to deal with. When you do the
Well, as
when you
President John
commit to,
is,
you just
as
commit to
President
it, and then future John has to worry about paying for it.
as President John, who is dealing with past John's purchase of the 6 scale Batmobile, and past John's purchase of the 6 scale Bat Pod, and past John's purchase of the Batman Superman 2 pack, which all have hit in the past like 4 to 5 weeks.
Dude,
Like,
I know. Trust me, future like President Rob is really hating past Rob right now. Like in the
almost like
it was bad. It was really bad. But
there have been a lot of
nevertheless,
drops. Yeah, there have
yeah,
been a lot
they
of drops
all,
here. So
even with delays, I had
yeah,
so many still come out. Like, cause I had the Wonder Woman 84 Wonder Woman on pre-order, and that came out, but that got delayed rather. But that came out, was slated to come out the same time Clone Wars Anakin, Jango Fett, Clone Wars Ahsoka. Uh, what else was it? Rex. All of these things were supposed to come out around the same time, so future Nate had to deal with that all at the same time, and I only got relief from Wonder Woman 84 being delayed. But
yeah.
then shortly after that, the Nightmare 2-pack hit. So it's like that was just as expensive as almost all three of the other figures.
Well, and that's
The
that's the other
Nightmare.
thing too. Like, I've been carrying a double-digit pre-order on Sideshow for like the past 18 months, I think. My pre-orders have consistently stayed at double digits. I'm finally down to where there's only like 4 or 5 on there right now, and it's kind of a nice feeling to not have like. If I want some figures in the future, I've got pre-orders out there at other vendors too for like first batch order on the Batman figure, and then there's other figures there. I mean, we haven't gotten into Grand Inquisitor yet, but with the reason that Grand Inquisitor came up was because I wanted to talk about Sideshow's kind of releases that they've been doing, and not just Sideshow, Hot Toys releases they've been doing. But anyway, there's been a slew of figures and things, not just from Hot Toys, but InArt and other production companies coming out, and so it's become quite the juggling act to figure out what figures I want, and I think I might be done with a lot of pre-orders. I might be shifting more towards a wait till they're released and then decide.
Wait, did you got the InArt Batman?
I have not ordered the InArt Batman yet. We'll see, but I have not. I love the fact that it comes with that you can get a pack with the
Bruce
Bruce
Wayne.
Wayne. Um, but then there's also, a cool grand that you have to drop to do that with. So
Well, actually, if you do $200 down, it's $50 a month for 12 months. Speaking from experience, Toys Wonderland. You do $200 down, you can do a 12-month installment plan. It's $50 a month.
How does that work? 'Cause I thought the price was more.
Well, right, it's with how the price is right now, that's how it works out if you do it. Because if
Okay.
you're doing the first
Did
batch,
you do that then?
I have somehow been delaying actually going through with it. I'm
Okay.
going to do it, but I know future Nate is not actually, this is present Nate because it's gonna be taking money out of my account every month. With Sideshow, I just put the deposit down and then I forget about it until they
Mm,
take my money and without me knowing. But with this one, I actually have to pay for it. But I feel obligated to get it for 2 reasons. 1, I want the Bruce Wayne figure and it looks really
yep.
good, and
Yep.
I have the Hot Toys one on pre-order already, and my logic here is that I can keep the Hot Toys one in the box and never open the fucking thing. It's the special edition one that comes with the bat symbol and everything, and this 2-pack also comes with the bat symbol, so I wouldn't be missing out on that. So my logic is I keep the Batman Hot Toy one, but then I actually display this one, and then you know what I get to do? I get to easily compare them because my wife got our oldest the Hot Toys, the Batman figure as well. So she'll be able to take hers out of the box and I can compare both of them
Sure.
while not opening mine for years and selling it for twice the value, hopefully.
When the sequel comes out.
Yeah, that's the hope anyway.
What's the see, I'm on Toys Wonderland right now, and first, like, were you thinking like second batch, later batch? Because I'm on first batch.
First batch. You
First
have
batch NR, and it's giving me 1,100 as the price.
when I go into pay deposit, right?
Uh huh.
You see right here, bam, payable today, $220. Future payments, 660. So that's $860 or $880. My bad.
But click on first batch. I think that's estimating that off of second batch. Click on
Oh,
first
maybe.
batch.
Okay, then
There
yeah,
you
that's
go. There you
1,000.
go. Okay.
That was the later batch. Well, honestly, I would just do later batch. Who gives a fuck about getting it first? I ain't why would you pay that's not even FOMO at that point. That's like greed. You don't need it. Is it worth
$2 to get it
$200 to get it
3 months
first?
earlier.
You're already
Yeah.
paying
So,
a monthly installment plan to get it for cheap. Unless you're like, if you're gonna drop all the money up front and pay for it in full, or at least schedule your payment plans out to hit what they're saying is the quote unquote release date, but inevitably these things always get delayed. There's really no point in doing a first batch, like in
mhm,
my opinion, especially when it costs you $200 more. Because knowing how hot, granted, this is in art, but you have to also take into consideration they haven't actually released one, so we don't know if how they are with hitting their release windows. But Hot
sure.
Toys is not that good with it, especially when you go through the American distributor Sideshow. They're really not good with hitting the release dates because I've waited 2, 3 months past what the estimated release date was to get the figure. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But
Are
yeah,
you worried
I wouldn't see it.
are you worried at all about this rooted hair?
Oh yeah, I'm
It's funny to me
horrified.
because it feels like to me, it feels like the industry's been moving away from rooted hair. Like there were quite a few figures, especially female figures. I don't honestly can't think of a male figure that's come out that's had rooted hair.
I hate Toys Wonderland's site now. Has this ever happened to you, by the way? When you're trying to click on their stuff, it gets
Oh,
locked to the scroll thing, and now I
yes.
can't click on the other. It's the most annoying, shitty website. God, but go on.
Happens a ton to me, but I can't think of a male figure that has the rooted hair. But anyway, like I always kind of like the I was trying to think. I don't think she's back there, but I always liked kind of the first one I got that had rooted hair was the Winter Soldier Black Widow,
Mhm.
and she's got kind of that kind of I don't. Sorry, I don't know hairstyles, but it's kind of that chin level, just kind of parted down the side, cut. It's a pretty, there's nothing, there's not much to it. It's a pretty standard haircut, and it works just fine. Like the way I've got the figure set up, it's kind of a museum pose, and she just stands there, and I never have an issue with the hair. But something like this, where like you're looking at possibly swapping out head sculpts or something, like I don't know. I worried I would mess that hair up, and then it's going to be on me to style it back to the way it's supposed to be. And I'm not a hairstylist. Sorry.
Honestly, I would never. I mean, for me anyway, with this figure, I worried. I worry about the rooted hair, and I was more worried about it because I don't know if you remember, but I told you when InArt's other figure, their first release of the Heath Ledger
Joker.
Joker, they
Yeah.
had like 4 different versions or something. They had 2 different 2-packs and 2 different single versions, and the difference was rooted hair in 2 figures or sculpted hair in 2 figures or just getting them individually as one. And I didn't even realize when I bought the thing that I got the rooted hair one. So I was actually quite upset about it because I really didn't want to fucking deal with rooted hair because if it's ruined, it's ruined. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
But the only thing that made me like kind of be okay with it was strictly because it's from Queen Studios and I trust them with rooted hair more than I would trust pretty much anybody else.
Okay.
Like you've seen their like quarter scale or not their full scale like busts that have rooted hair. Those are perfect.
Yeah.
Like they not they're perfect. They use way better material for the hair, and I think they use like real animal hair in some cases. And I think even on the human ones, I might be talking on my ass, but I think I've heard that they use like real human donated hair in some cases. I don't know for sure,
Yeah.
but I think I've heard that somewhere. So I feel a lot safer with it with them more so than Hot Toys in all honesty because the like BVS Wonder Woman with the rooted hair is the most god awful thing I've ever seen in my life. Like that's why I got the Wonder Woman 84 Wonder Woman because it has sculpted hair and it looks
Yeah.
great.
Well, and
Looks
that's what I was
absolutely
gonna.
great.
That kind of before I got off on my tangent, that was what I was going to say. It's been real surprising to see Queen Studios and InArt or whatever they're calling this division of their company. It's been interesting to see them go with so many figures with rooted hair options because it feels like the industry, at least Hot Toys, has been going away from rooted hair. It seems like much more that many more of their figures have been coming out with sculpted hair. Black Widow
Mhm.
from Endgame came out with sculpted hair. It just seems like it's not something. The rooted hair seems to be happening less and less in a lot of other areas. So
Well, I think I think honestly though we're seeing that though because these are from traditionally 6 scale companies who only work in 6 scale, companies that don't have the same kind of, uh, expertise and just experience with rooted hair as someone and with InArt, AKA Queen Studios does. Like, Queen Studios has been doing rooted hair in their statues for years. Just years,
mhm,
because they that's the thing with it's an interesting situation because with InArt, I feel like if you were gonna be concerned about anything it probably shouldn't be the rooted hair, and it should be the figure itself. We have no idea what kind of 6 scale work to expect from Queen Studios at all, because 'cause they've never
mhm,
made 6 scale figure, but they've made head sculpts, they've made sculpts with rooted hair, they do that stuff. They don't make 6 scale figures. So, like, I that's the logic that flipped in my brain anyway, was, like, that's
mhm.
how I perceived it once because I don't remember if I, like, explicitly, like, told you how kind of, like, annoyed and mad I was when I found out I got the rooted hair Joker. Like, I was
No,
pissed.
yeah,
I was
we
not
talked
happy
about it
about
because
it.
I think I was over at your place and you were telling me that you had just ordered it and then you'd gotten the email, looked at the email, it said rooted hair, and you were like, wait, what?
Yeah, because the thing was that I thought that the most expensive one came with both. I thought you got rooted
That's right.
hair and sculpted hair. Because it
That's
made
right.
no sense to me that they weren't very different in price. It was like 100, $200 difference. So
Mhm.
like I initially just immediately thought like, well, hell yeah, I want both then. Like, especially for like resale value, you want as much stuff as possible in that package because you want the big bonus deluxe big boy edition that's going to get more money. But as if anyone ever resells their figures. But nevertheless, I just assumed it was gonna come with both. It seemed like, okay, it's like 100, $200 more. That obviously is gonna have the sculpted hair and the rooted hair head sculpts. Of course. Purchase. Come to
Yeah.
find out it doesn't. It's just
Yeah.
like you paid 200 more dollars for rooted hair, which was something I inevitably didn't even want, but then the logic flipped in my brain, and it might just be copium. Honestly, I'm just hoping for the best. There's a little bit of hopium, a little bit of copium. That is not going to be bad. But you know what I found interesting to get back to the Grand Inquisitor thing? When let's backtrack a second. When they first released the Vader picture, I gotta pull up Sideshow again so I can pull up the Vader. Hold on. Maybe it's on the recommended down here. Yes, it is. Perfect. Okay. So I remember looking at Vader, right? And I was like, okay, oh, okay, yep, going through, yep. Oh, they have a Grand Inquisitor back here. Huh. Are they gonna make this name point in time? Interesting.
Mhm.
Now they did. And then as I was sitting here looking through Grand Inquisitor, you know what I saw?
Yep.
Oh, they're gonna make
Revo
you think they're gonna make that figure given the character how it turned out?
um, yeah, and I think we may see it sooner rather than later because I didn't think we'd see a Grand Inquisitor this quickly. But I'm wondering if the sales on Vader and Obi-Wan were so high that they're like pushing these out faster now.
Wait a minute. You can still get everything that came with that 14 they still have it. There's not a time.
Waitlist. Waitlist.
Oh, it's waitlist? Oh, okay.
Yeah, yep. That's what like so it ended and so I went waitlist. I'm assuming that what they did is like they cap production at whatever the pre-orders were, but then if somebody doesn't follow through with it, then they'll
You
or it
know
was
the
just a
only
scheme.
thing it's just this though.
Yeah, oh, sure, sure, I know. I'm just saying, like that type of
Right.
business, like where they're like, order now or else you don't get this extra thing, and like it's like, oh, damn it, I want the extra stuff, but like I don't want to be forced into making a decision in like a
I
week or
no, I thought the same thing when I saw it because the only thing I cared about with this, it was funny when they released the Vader, when they announced the Vader. Rick sent me the pic. I didn't even know they announced it, but he was like, "Hey, did you see Hot Toys release the a Vader from Obi-Wan?" And he sent me like a picture, and on the thumbnail, that was like just the regular. It had no body, no damaged armor, no. Why can I not think of the word I'm thinking
metal
of?
damage.
Battle damage, yeah. There was no
Yeah,
battle damage, and I literally said to him, like, "That's kinda dumb. The only Vader I would buy from Obi-Wan is one with the battle damage, and I'm talking the crushed chest plate, the cracked helmet, and the slash on the back of his cape, or I ain't buying shit." And then I went and saw the rest of the pictures, and I was like, "Well, fuck. Now I have to." I'm like, "God damn it."
damn
And
it,
then
now
I
I have to. Yeah,
yeah, then I saw on top of that, it comes with the, Inquisitor lightsaber, and then the special edition comes with 2 different bases, and he's got I was just like, "God damn it." They found a way to make me buy another Vader figure.
yeah.
Like, oh my god. But yeah, here's the thing. Here's another thing I gotta bring this up too. This is for the longest time I feel like everybody has always complained that Hot Toys has been way too slow on their releases.
Oh yeah.
They have been announcing them way too late. They like it was like the Boba Fett ones, if I remember correctly, those ones even like it was like 6 months after the show ended, they finally announced this Boba Fett figure was coming out, and even the Boba Fett from Mandalorian, that was, like, I felt like forever after Mando premiered and Boba appeared in there, they finally released, or announced it. Because then they announce it at a certain time, then you still have to wait a year or more in some cases to even get the figure. S
In-game Loki.
yeah,
In-game Loki has been. I mean, we're approaching like 2 years now
yeah.
since that figure was announced or,
Well,
or put up for pre-order. Just
yeah, and that's
ridiculous.
the thing, and now it's like they haven't upped their, like, production time for the actual releases, but what they've done on the flip side was increased the rate at which they're making the announcements. So they're making announcements and pre-orders significantly earlier than before. So, like, we're getting all these stuffs dropping at, like, the same time. So then, like, I've honestly felt like I've been a little bit overloaded with having to pre-order stuff in some degree. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Well, and
But
that's the reason this topic came up. You can go ahead and like I'm gonna.
oh, you're fine. I just pray I came
Yeah,
in
no,
here.
no. Go ahead. I mean, I can talk to chat for a minute, so chat can help me out with the dilemma I've got. So we're talking about ordering these different figures, and I pulled up here. I'm not gonna be able to show you guys, but I ordered. I'm thinking about ordering the um, we've been talking about the Queen Studios InArt Batman that comes with the Bruce Wayne. I mean, you get two 6 scale figures, that look very high quality. They look awesome. But one thing I've been dabbling or thinking about getting into is statues. I know a lot of people have statues out there, and like I've always liked the idea of statues. Um, like there's the Prime One the Batman movie statue that I think looks like phenomenal. So like I don't know if I don't know if I would be better off saving that $1,000 and then putting it on like the Batman Prime One statue, or if it's still better off to just stick with the 6 scale. I mean, I've already pre-ordered the 6 scale Hot Toys, the Batman figure, so like there's a lot of I don't know. I don't know. It's probably stupid. I've been collecting Hot Toys for a while now, so it's probably stupid to try and get into the statue game at this point. Plus, then there's the room and like the size of them and stuff, and I don't really have any space for them. But I'm really impressed with some of the statues I've seen. I've always liked the idea of possibly going into statues. So, looks like we got somebody in the chat. Lions Mania, what's up? How you doing? Moon Knight or Loki is my favorite, I think. Maybe She-Hulk, I don't know yet. Yeah, I mean it's definitely a little early to be calling She-Hulk your favorite, like after one episode. If so, you must have really liked it. Like that would say a lot about that first episode to make it jump to your favorite, but I
It was
could
a good
definitely
episode.
see it was excellent. Yeah, it was a very good episode. I like the Loki. Loki is I wonder if Loki over time is going to I wonder if it's going to creep up people's ranks for especially once we see how it ties in with this phase of the MCU. Like I have a feeling that series could become like a cornerstone of this phase and like really become an integral part of what they're building in this phase and more so than it is right now.
It's got the potential, I mean, especially with season 2 coming up and how it could potentially, I mean, obviously, in some capacity, you would imagine, tie into, like, Kang Dynasty and everything.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked Loki a lot. I don't know why other people didn't like Loki, but I like sci-fi stuff, and that's what that was. Like, it was good. I appreciated it, and I liked the quirkiness of it. There was some stuff that, like, obviously the 6 episode shit still doesn't work, but nevertheless, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
There was
speaking of statues, look at this. Keep going though, because I gotta unbox it,
well
so you go.
that's what I was gonna say, like real quick, just because I know that you're into the statues. You've actually got some really high end statues, Dragon Ball statues, right?
I do. Yes, I do.
That are really impressive. So you kind of have that. You kind of dabble in both the 6 scale and the statue world. And I was telling chat like there's this Prime One, the Batman statue. I mean, it's $1,600, so it's not. It's not cheap by any stretch, but if I didn't get the InArt, 6 scale the Batman figure, that would put a huge dent in getting this statue. So like, there's a part of me that kind of I really want to go that route, but I also don't. I really love the idea of getting that Robert Pattinson, Bruce Wayne figure in my collection, having that standing next to, the Batman figure. So it's what the problem is. Here's the problem. I just don't have enough money. If I just had
Oh
more
yeah.
money, this would all be solved, right? I could have an entire wing of my house dedicated to just statues, an entire wing for hot toys. It's funny how easily money solves problems.
Yeah, I know. The only people who money doesn't solve problems for is rich people.
Yeah.
Because there is a cap. Like once you have a certain amount of income, money will no longer bring you happiness or solve any of your problems, right? But if you went from, it's just so funny that I'm even bringing this up because I just saw Asman say this exact same thing, like literally on a video earlier. But it's totally true. Like if you go from 20,000 to like annual income to 60,000 annual income, your life is going to change and you're going to be a
Yep.
lot happier. You're going to be in a much better financial situation. Yeah. But once you go from 60 to 120, that's still great. But then once you get from like 120 to 150, you're already pretty well off at 120. So like that's good, but you still have all the same underlying problems. Then you go to from 150 to 200, you're just it's
Yeah.
marginal gains. You're just like it's like why,
Yep.
Elon Musk and all these people, they can be assholes and stuff. It's like the money doesn't make them happy. They
Yeah.
can do whatever they want, but they still have other problems. Like the money thing
Yeah.
just becomes not a problem anymore. But speaking of statues, oh, but yes, no, do not. Personally, I would get the InArt 2-pack over any of the Batman statues I've seen because they are not as good. In
Yeah.
my opinion, they did not look as good as the InArt Batman, and I
Okay.
know even the Queen Studios I'm pretty sure it was the Queen Studios one. I think they even have a quarter scale the Batman, and it doesn't look as good as the 6 scale one that they did. There was one version that had 3 different head sculpts for them. It was either a Prime one or a Queen Studio one. I can't remember, but the text, like the actual texturing on the outfit did not look right, and the body, uh, like the dimensions of Pattinson's body were not on that statue. Like the statue was like bodybuilder, Batfleck looking Batman, not Pattinson, but it was Pattinson's costume. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what when I saw
That so that was I think the one you're talking about is the Prime One, the Batman statue that they announced prior to the movie even coming out.
yeah.
They had announced this figure. They actually have one that's an official Pattinson one now. That has the head sculpt that matches and stuff. I have the Queen Studios one pulled up. My my issue with the Queen Studios one, I think it looks pretty good. I think actually it looks really good. My only issue is the base is I see I understand the logic behind it, but the base is like a scaled down version of the Batmobile, like he's standing on the back of this
Yeah.
mini Batmobile, and
Mhm.
it just kinda I in theory understand it, it's kinda cool because you kinda get the Batmobile statue included with it, but to me, it comes off as kinda goofy.
No, I
Like,
thought
it
the same
just
thing.
doesn't quite there's something about it that just looks a little cheesy, and so I wouldn't go in on this one just because of that. But Prime One has an actual see like that looks good right there. I think that just looks so good. But then there's the posability. I think that Pattinson from that angle doesn't look 100%, but there are some angles I think it looks really good. Um,
I mean, I think this one looks really good.
Look at that base. That base is just
It is though, it's still the proportions aren't right. That is not Robert Pattinson's this is
no, that's
way
not his
more
body.
buff than Robert Pattinson.
Yeah,
From this angle, it doesn't look as not out of proportion, but, like, yeah, this is a lot beefier of Robert Pattinson, and from a distance, that's not even a good looking head sculpt, to be honest.
yeah.
I mean, up close, it looks fine, but, like, from a distance, it didn't look that good.
Yeah, but the
And the only
Prime
thing I
one,
didn't like the chest seemed a little bit too metallic too. Like a little
yeah,
bit. I'll pull up
yeah, I
the
don't know if
Prime one.
see if they
Yeah,
have
this
because
this one was the one that they did before, and now it's gone.
yeah, and this no that's the new one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah. That yeah, I was looking for the new one.
oh okay, yeah. I think that looks really good. I also like the pose a little more. I like that it's just kind of more of a museum. That the other one they've got him kind of in that to the side. He's kind of bent at the torso a little bit on the Queen Studios one. It's maybe a little more dynamic, but it looks it this feels more like the character in this pose than the Queen Studios one. Um,
It's funny because I got no joke. This looks exactly texture-wise and everything like InArt's 6 scale, like the InArt 6 scale.
oh yeah,
Yeah, like literally
I can see that.
look at the chest. I need to I need the other picture. It's harder to see it in this, and I can't get it. I can't click on anything now. The stupid website. It's harder to tell in this shot, but there's like on the one, like the Queen Studio one, like this looks metallic. The chest piece, it looks
Yep,
metallic, right? But
definitely.
on the Hot Toys chest piece and the InArt chest piece, it has like this. It's more of like that clothy Kevlar overlay on it, right? It
Yep.
looks more of like a fabric, and that's exactly what the Prime one looks like. You can tell there's like a fabric texture to it, and it's not like just metal.
Hmm.
So that's why it's like weirdly enough, the Queen Studios statue does not look like their 6 scale figure, but this Prime one does look like that 6 scale figure. So I would say that the Prime 1 statue is far more accurate. And I honestly don't you'd be hard pressed to find anybody who would say that Prime 1 isn't the best statue making company. So,
Yeah,
to be
see, that's the other
honest.
thing. I know nothing about the statue making companies. Like, I hear all these different names, and so I didn't know like if Prime One was like the gold standard or whatever. But this figure actually just really impressed me. So
Prime 1's good, XM Studios is
first,
really
the
good,
statue.
Queen
Hmm.
Studios is good, but Queen Studios has really been known, like, at least to me, I might someone else might have a different opinion, but to me, Queen Studios has always been known for their one-to-one scale busts.
Okay.
And then Prime 1 is, like, quarter scale and third scale statues. Queen Studios makes that stuff too, but I think, like, Queen Studios really excels at the one-to-one scale bust. Prime 1 excels at one-third quarter scale mixed media statues, and then, XM Studios just makes fucking awesome statues too. 'Cause I showed you the hold on, this bad boy. I'm honestly shocked I haven't bought this yet, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
The Darth Revan and Darth Malak XM Studios figure
Yep.
statues. They're quarter scale, and they're incredible, man. I love them. 'Em. They're so good. Like, XM Studios is great. They made a really good Batman. I almost got at one point too. It was like a third or quarter scale. It was really good. But these things are just awesome. And I love that with XM, they literally made this to where you could rearrange them to have them like dueling or fighting like back to back with each other, and they just did a bunch of cool stuff with that. But
Yeah.
the quarter scale statues are just the statues are so big. That's like the biggest problem with them is they just take up so much room.
Well, that's yeah. That Prime One is a third scale. I mean, that thing's
Mhm.
gonna be that's what over 2 feet. That's just crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's why like I have the quarter scale like Mando, and it's a big boy, and that's just a quarter
Mhm.
scale. And then all the Dragon Ball statues I have, they're just 6 scale statues. But like they're really big because they have very dynamic bases and
Yeah.
shit that goes around them. So like they're the same size as like a quarter scale statue would be of just a person, but it's just like all the extra stuff that comes along with it. That's
Yeah.
more of a Dragon Ball thing, just because it's like a big energy war or some